Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Trangia with Citizenship Academy. We're on Domain 7, William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, Lesson 12, Comedy or Tragedy. Our objectives for today are to write a journal entry from the perspective of the character using evidence from Act 3, Scene 2. Some key vocabulary: Noel is a head, cure is a mean dog, fray, confusion. A comedy as applied to Shakespeare's plays is a genre with a happy ending and greater humor and a lighter tone than other genres. And tragedy as applied to Shakespeare's plays is a genre with a sad ending, often many deaths, and a dark, serious tone. So our summary of 3.2, our characters are Puck, Oberon, Helena, Demetrius, Hermia, and Lysander. As this scene begins, Puck returns after putting the love juice into Titania's eyes. Oberon says, "Oberon, how now, mad spirit?" Oberon asks Puck if Titania has fallen in love with the first creature she saw. Puck says, "Puck, my mistress with a monster is in love." He explains that he saw a bunch of guys trying to act out a scene for a play, and he magically transformed the biggest ham in the group into a donkey. He says, "Puck, an ass's knoll I fixed on his head." Oberon is pleased with that news. Suddenly, Demetrius and Hermia enter the scene, and Oberon asks Puck if he also put the juice in the young Athenian's eyes. Oberon says, "Oberon, stand close. This is the same Athenian." Puck looks puzzled and says, "Puck, this is the woman, but not the man." They watch as Hermia and Demetrius argue. Because of the love juice that Puck put in his eyes, Demetrius is now in love with Hermia. Demetrius says, "Demetrius, oh, why rebuke you him that loves you so?" Hermia thinks that he has killed Lysander. Otherwise, why would Lysander have left her? She says, "Hermia, why would he have stolen away from sleeping Hermia?" She's also frustrated that Demetrius is stalking her. Hermia says, "Hermia, outdog, outcur, thou drivest me past the bounds of maiden's patience." She runs away farther into the woods. Demetrius is exhausted after chasing Hermia, so he lies down and falls asleep. Oberon yells at Puck and tells him to go find Helena and bring her back. Puck says, "Puck, I go, look how I go." Oberon then puts the juice in Demetrius' eyes and says, "Oberon, I'll charm his eyes against she do appear." Puck returns and says that Helena is on her way. He says, "Puck, shall we their fond pageant see? Lord, what fools these mortals be." Enter Lysander and Helena. Remember that Puck gave the love juice to Lysander by mistake, and now he is madly in love with Helena. Lysander swears he loves Helena. Helena says, "Helena, O devilish holy fray, these vows are Hermia's." Lysander explains that he no longer loves Hermia. He says, "Lysander, I had no judgment when to her I swore." Demetrius wakes up and sees Helena and immediately falls in love with her. Demetrius says, "Demetrius, oh how ripe and show thy lips, those kissing cherries tempting grow," and even more romantically says, "Oh, let me kiss the princess of pure white, the seal of bliss." She thinks Lysander and Demetrius are making fun of her and yells at both of them. Helena says, "Oh spite, oh hell, I see you all are bent to set against me for your merriment." She reminds them that they both love Hermia. She says, "You both are rivals and love Hermia, and now both rivals to mock Helena." Demetrius tells her that he no longer loves Hermia and tells Lysander, "Lysander, keep thy Hermia, I will none. I loved her, all that love is gone." Suddenly, Hermia enters, sees Lysander, and asks him why he left her. She says, "Why unkindly didst thou leave me so?" He tells her he is now in love with Helena and says, "The hate I bear thee made me leave thee so." She can't believe it. She tries to hug him, and he says, "Hang off, thou cat, thou burr. Vile thing, let loose, or I will shake thee from me like a serpent." And then he adds, "Be certain nothing truer, 'tis no jest that I do hate thee and love Helena." Hermia thinks that her old pal Helena has been sneaky and gotten Lysander to fall in love with her. Hermia turns to Helena and says, "You juggler, you canker blossom, you thief of joy." Helena makes fun of Hermia and calls her a puppet and little. Lysander joins in and says to Hermia, "Get you gone, you dwarf, you bead, you acorn." Demetrius and Lysander continue to fight over Helena. Demetrius says to Helena, "I say I love thee more than he can do." The two men leave to go fight somewhere. Helena and Hermia continue to fight. Helena has had enough and says, "I will not trust you, nor longer stay in your cursed company." She runs away and is chased by an angry Hermia. Oberon yells at Puck for making such a mess of things. He tells Puck to create a fog and get all the lovers to fall asleep in the same place. Then Oberon says he has a different flower that will undo the love juice. He tells Puck, crush this herb into Lysander's eye. Oberon's plan is for all the lovers to wake up at the same time, and then each man will fall in love with the right woman. Oberon says, when they wake, all this shall seem a dream. Puck creates a fog, brings them all back together, puts them to sleep, and puts the new herbs into Lysander's eyes. Puck leaves them sleeping and says, Jack shall have Jill, naught shall go ill, and all shall be well. So Shakespeare's plays are often categorized into either a comedy or a tragedy. So his comedies are more humor, tragedies are obviously very bad. His tragedies are really, really dark, but that's just how his plays were. So a lot of times his comedies had like a happy ending. A lot of times it was a wedding. Tragedies had more sad endings, like usually like everyone dies, and it's just craziness. But those are the two categories that his writing is typically brought into. So now you're going to put yourself in a place of one of the four young Athenians, Hermia, Helena, Demetrius, or Lysander. Imagine that before you fell asleep, you're about to write in your diary, and you're going to answer the question, do you feel that your life is a comedy or a tragedy? Why? And what do you think is going to happen next? And do you have any hope? So I want you to think about that, and that's going to be your assignment for this lesson, and we will see everyone next time.